Let's go to line one to speak to Liberal MP Yvonne Jones. How are you this morning?
I am wonderful. How are you this morning?
Great. What's the ice situation in the Straits these days?
Well, there's still a lot of ice. There's no doubt about that. There are Coast Guard icebreaker support there, and they're doing their best to get the bond back and forth between the Straits and Corner Brook. So it's been a very tasking situation for a lot of passengers that have been using the service, simply because they've been finding themselves stranded for days on end and for hours on end in the ice itself. So it's not the ideal conditions to be traveling in.
Okay. You obviously have something else on your mind this morning as well.
Well, I do. Obviously, the ferry service is never far from mine because it's a key transportation link for us here in Labrador, and one that needs significant improvement, as I've talked about before. But the real purpose of my call this morning is to talk about the application that is currently before the Public Utilities Board to increase the hydro rates in Labrador. They're looking at a 25% increase in Goose Bay, Northwest River, and Cheshire area, along with Labrador City, Wabush area, and of course this would apply as well to Mud Lake and so on. So that itself will be a substantial increase if it goes forward, and there's also proposed increases for the North and South Coast communities, which currently are already paying substantially high rates. So I'm having a public meeting tonight in Happy Valley Goose Bay. It will be at the Arena Conference Center. It will take place at 7 p.m. tonight, and I'm inviting people in the public to come out to this meeting, share with me their experiences, what it's costing them in electricity, what this will mean, and to show their support in challenging the decision before the application before the Public Utilities Board right now.
All right. Well, we've had quite a bit of, in addition to this increase, of course, there have been a lot of stories coming out of Labrador, the third line, people wondering who's going to pay for that. We have some indication now, an awful lot of changes in the west part of Labrador, of course, with the closure of the mine in Wabush, but some expansion perhaps for IOC. Boy, I tell you, it just never stops. It must be a challenging riding to represent because there's so much happening all the time.
Well, there's a lot happening. There's a lot of positive stuff, and there's a lot of challenging stuff right now. This application before the Public Utilities Board will have huge implications on industrial and business development in Labrador, but it will also propose a very huge challenge for customers in this region. Over the last number of years, we have seen consistent increases in hydro rates in the Labrador West and region in particular, up to a 40% increase. This additional 25% is basically all profit that will go to Newfoundland and Labrador Hydro. They are already earning a profit out of Labrador right now, and they have not even told us what new revenues that they're going to be generating as a result of this as a result of this new industrial line, as a result of export sales, what we're going to make on additional recall power. So all of this is going to be profits based on the numbers that we're calculating. This could mean as much as an additional $100 million a year or more in profit for the Newfoundland and Labrador government and Newfoundland and Labrador Hydro. And it's all coming out of Labrador. So to put families and people in this area in financial hardship further to earn even more profit, it makes absolutely no sense. And so we will be fighting this. I have applied and been granted intervener status into the hearings, which will start in July. And these public meetings are a part of the process of preparing for that intervener application that I'll be submitting to the Public Utilities Board.
All right. Well, listen, good luck with your meeting tonight at the Arena Conference Center, Happy Valley Goose Bay, 7 p.m., right?
Yes, it is, and I hope that the public will come out and anybody who's interested in this issue, because it will affect everyone.
Yeah.
And you know,
I'd be curious to hear, what comes out of that. So if you want to give us another call afterwards to just give us an update on what was said and how people feel, we'd love to hear you.
Okay, I'd be happy to, and I will certainly give you a full report on what's happening there. In addition to that, I also wanted to acknowledge a couple of things. First of all, you talk about challenges in Labrador. I'm facing some huge challenges right now with changes in Canada Post. Mm-hmm. It's affecting all the rural services. It seems like one by one these post offices are getting ticked off by Canada Post. They're either getting reduced hours, they're getting reduced staff, or reduced services. Mm-hmm. And it's going to have a major impact in areas, especially where these communities are isolated in many cases, in areas where there's no other alternative, only Canada Postal Services, to really be able to get things in and out, whether that be letter mail or parcel mail in many cases. Okay. So it is going to have an impact. And of course, as well, the cuts to the door-to-door services in Labrador West, in Lab City and Walbush. I met with some representatives when I was over there last week. I'll be there again later this week. And, that itself is causing a huge concern there. So there are lots of issues, not just Canada Post, but Muskrat Falls is still a huge issue here in Labrador. Actually, today I'll be meeting with a number of the companies here. We have a lot of people still looking for jobs at Muskrat Falls, but there is some good news, and the good news is that more and more now we're seeing these jobs being advertised. I think last night there was a job ads for 20 janitors that was posted. So, these are a lot of these jobs are jobs that Labradorians would be looking to apply to. Every day now we're seeing more and more postings for carpenters, for laborers. So hopefully we're going to start increasing our numbers of workers that we have on site from Labrador. Okay. I think right now there's about 800 workers on site, and I'm being told that that will ramp up every month, April, May, June, and by the end of August there should be 3,500 workers there. Okay, and
lots to talk about next time, Yvonne. I also want to touch on Quebec and how the upcoming election is being discussed amongst your colleagues as well. So
lots of discussion here on the Quebec election. I can certainly tell you that.
All right, well, we'll have a full conversation again next time. Thanks very much for this today.
All right, and thank you, Pete.
All the best.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye.